Good morning, holy brothers! Thank you so much for joining us on our pathway to peace in the Garden of Peace, following along inside page 264. And today's lesson is called Charming Cheering. Woohoo! Here we go. Wife cannot bear any comments about her cooking. Oh my goodness. Forget about it. So many stories that are told of our greatest sages and our biggest rabbis that they have their wife cooking them egg salad and it's full of shells. Or they go to somebody's house for Shabbos and they're eating a soup and it's like completely burnt. The pieces are like crunchy inside of it. And they tell stories about how the egg salad, like they finished the whole bowl. And like the soup, when they're at the guest house, they asked for it first because they're the rabbi. And when they tasted it, it was so bad. They didn't want anybody else to, God forbid, have a grimace on their face or have a look that somebody might pick up on the hint that something wasn't the best tasting that it should have been. So he finished his bowl and he asked for another. And then he did that like 8 times till the whole pot of soup was good. Like everybody's looking at him like, save some for somebody else. Why are you such a chazer? Why are you such an animal? Why are you so selfish that you're having the whole soup? But in the meantime, every bite was like hell for him. But he was saving such embarrassment from the woman who cooked it so that nobody else would, God forbid, say something, open their mouth, or give a dirty look. So he was willing to sacrifice everything of himself, not to embarrass the other person. Never to comment at all that a cooking, that a baking, and whatever time they invested into it, that's from their heart. And why would you ever want to put somebody down or embarrass somebody for it? The lengths at which they went to, we can only imagine to dream of doing. Could you imagine that if you had something bad in your house, you like force yourself to eat the whole thing and tell her it's so good that you want another? Unbelievable. You got to strive, man. This is an enormously sensitive issue for her. When a husband intervenes and comments on his wife's cooking, he's draining her of the vitality and the joy that she naturally feels when preparing for her family, when she's putting in her time, when she's putting in her love, when she's trying to give of herself for others. And you want to take that away? You want to strip her of that sense of satisfaction and joy that she's trying to give to you? A husband must understand and accept and make peace with the fact that his wife's God-given nature is very different from his own.
What if she doesn't like what she made?
You still compliment her. My mother-in-law does that every single time she cooks. I'm telling you, no matter what she makes, whether she reads over a potato kugel, whether she makes a salad, the potato kugel is always burnt, it doesn't have enough salt, it wasn't done right, it's not tasty too well. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's amazing. I wish I could have more, please. Make them feel good. It doesn't matter. Some people are so criticizing themselves all the time. They're so negative, you know? They don't have that sense of happiness. They don't understand what satisfaction and contentment is. So they need to look for it for others. Be their pillar. Be their support. Be amazing. Even if they're not, or especially if they're not. It's got to come from somewhere. Why not you? Why not the loving son-in-law? Be that man. That makes her happy. The husband cheers the wife. Woohoo! Cheers. The Torah commands, and he shall cheer the wife that he has taken. Devarim 24:5. Bible, baby. But the Torah does not command the wife to cheer a new husband. Who's got to be the roo-roo-rah jumping around with the pom-poms? Not the girls in the miniskirts. It's the man with the pants. It also does not state that the husband should rejoice with his wife. Rashi comments, one who explains that he should rejoice with his wife is mistaken.
What does that mean?
Rashi, the mitzvah is for the husband to cheer the wife, not to rejoice together with her. You're not both cheering. You're not both being the ones who need to pump that positivity into the relationship. It's the guy's responsibility to bring that energy up. It's the guy's responsibility to do those cartwheels, to jump up and fly in the air. He's got to be the cheering squad for her. Don't rely on her to make you happy. It's not a togetherness. It's not a takes two to tango. It's not I invested now. It's her responsibility to do because it's her turn. There's no her turn. It's your turn 24/7. Rashi, Torah. This mitzvah teaches you that a wife's happiness comes from who? Her husband. Her husband! Who's the one who's the cheering squad on the side when she's playing the game? It's you, man. You got to be the one to cheer her up. She's relying on you. Therefore, that comes from you. That essence in her is going to be from you. You shine the light, and she's going to reflect it. We say this all the time. But now it shows you, even in a sense, of you need to be the one who's energizing her. You need to be her battery for her to run. We see that women can have everything. They can have super success. They can have brilliant beauty. They can have wonderful wealth and pure popularity, pristine power, prestige, and extreme, incredible influence. But if her husband doesn't value her, if her husband doesn't cherish her, she can be madly miserable. This is because her joy depends entirely on the degree that he does cherish her. On the other hand, we can find a super simple woman who may not be so successful in life. She may not be the brightest. She may not be the most beautiful. But if her husband is valuing her, if her husband is cherishing her, she's going to feel she's floating on air. She's flying above cloud 9 just because of what he gives her, not because of what she has or because of what she does. From him. He can make her feel like the most important, most magnificent thing in the world. From him. It's up to you. It's up to you. What are you going to do? How are you going to show her that you love and care for her? The Me'am Loez writes on the verse in Rus 1:9. The Lord grant you that you may find rest, each of you, in the house of her husband. From here, our sages have said that if a wife finds gratification, where's she going to get it from? Who? Her husband's home. Even if a daughter that enjoys wealth of clothes and has ridiculous jewelry and fanciest food in her father's home will not be gratified outside of her husband's home. No matter where she's going, what she's doing, what she's enjoying. And you may find rest, each one in the house of her father, but in the house of her husband. Because this is the place of a woman's true contentment. She may be superficially happy. She may be momentarily pleased. But the real true essence, the groundingness, that foundation is only going to be built and supported by you constantly and always. You want her to be amazing? Just make her amazing. It's literally up to you. A wife is compared to the moon. The husband is the sun. I went over this with like 2 different people over Shabbos. This whole understanding, an example, and a realization of the reality.
Actually, I heard something interesting from this professor.
Yeah.
Jewish professor, fruit professor. He's actually
Little louder.
pretty brilliant. He lives in Montreal. His name is Rabbi Shalom Arush.
Okay?
Actually, he doesn't even call himself a rabbi. But he says,
Louder.
why is like girls yeshiva called Bat Yaakov? Because Yaakov is compared to the moon.
It should be like Beis Rachel.
Right.
Or Beis Leah, not
Right.
Beis Yaakov.
Bet Yaakov,
Okay.
because Yaakov is compared to the moon, and that's why it's Bat Yaakov. The woman's house is, the house is the woman's. So they're compared to the moon, just like Yaakov is compared to the moon, and the man's house is the woman. The house belongs to the woman. It's all hers. So
You better
that's why
believe
it's Bat
it.
Yaakov, and we're Bnei Israel. We're not Ben Yaakov. We're Bnei Israel.
Beautiful.
So the woman is the moon.
The women are the moon. The moon has no literal light of its own. What happens in an eclipse when the sun's light is literally blocked by the earth? What happens to the moon? Completely black. It disappears. When you look every day of the month, the moon changes shapes from like a crescent to a full ball, then it almost disappears again. Well, how is the moon changing its shape? The light that's reflecting from the sun is blocked by a portion of the earth, and whatever's left gets hit on the moon. Whatever light is hitting the moon, that's what we see glowing. We only see the portion of the moon that the sun's light is able to hit and reflect off of. That's it. The moon does not light up on its own. The moon is not a light. It's not a night light. It's not a blazing ball of gas that shines. It's only the sun. The only light that the moon has is not from itself. It's from something else, the sun. The woman is that moon. How she's going to shine is literally only from you, her husband, her other half. You're the half of the soul that shines onto her, and she's the one going to be able to glow. You each have different roles, but you're the same unit, the same entity, split in half. The moon shines commensurate to the light that it receives from the sun. So too a wife shines commensurate with the light that she receives from her husband. Therefore, a husband must shine a warm light of love, a light of joy towards his wife, to illuminate her positively. Because if he is in darkness and he's in depression and he needs someone else to shine light onto him, he will not be able ever to illuminate his wife. If he's going to act like a moon and he's going to diminish his light, he's going to dial down his dimmer, what in the world is going to go to his wife? She's going to be dark, cold, and devoid of light. Sometimes you can't.
But can you compliment the wife as if she's the sun? Like,
what does that mean?
Like, oh, you give me energy, you give me positivity, even though it's really like that's your job. But like, just to make her feel.
You can compliment her all the time. You can give her praise all the time. You can show thankfulness and appreciation all the time.
Right.
But just understand where her light is coming from.
Right.
That's all.
But you can make her feel like the light.
You can make her feel that she's amazing and that you're able to be amazing because of her. But in reality, you're fooling yourself because what she is only because of you.
Right.
You want to tell her compliments? That's great. You want to tell her she looks beautiful? Do it all the time. Just don't trick your own mind into thinking that you're getting light from her.
Right. Okay.
Don't mess up your own reality. Of course, give her compliments. Of course, give her praise. You can feel like she's amazing and she does everything. Sure. It's essential that a husband acquires the trait of joy. The Sefer Charedim writes that the mitzvah of making one's wife happy continues how many months after marriage?
Every month.
Eternity! For flippin' ever! You do not ever get a break and it never runs out. Many times, by making his wife happy, a husband revives her spirit, right? And then he may see it in her. He may enjoy it from her. Our sages say that it's as if he sustains an entire world when he's giving her life. Dear husbands, listen up. Your wives have no one in the world but you to live off. Their vitality, their joy, their life depends on you, hanging in a balance. Shower them with loyal love. Give them incredible honor. Make them feel like their happiness is your top priority in the world, in life. You live to make her happy. Every step you take, every move you make is to make her happy. That's it. Only then will you be happy. If you have a wife that's miserable, she's going to drag you down to the dungeons. If you make her happy, she's going to be glowing, and that's going to be the simplest, most purest, most sweetest life you could ever imagine. When you don't have conflict, when you don't have strife, when you don't have arguments. Can you imagine you listening right now? Have you ever had a fight with your wife? You know how long that drags on for? How many times she brings it up again? But when you have peace in the home, when you have tranquility, when she's happy, wow, there's nothing like it. It's going to make your day amazing, your week, your month, your year, or even your year, right? And to the degree that you make your wife happy, you in turn will receive that happiness, and you'll receive that blessing from Hashem, from above. Open up your pipelines, pour forth the brachos, baby. The bountiful blessings will come right down towards you. The heart, Hashem wants it fully. He wants it complete. The value of every act of serving God, serving Hashem, depends on entirely how much your heart goes into it. You can take out the garbage. You can kick the can. You can mumble under your breath. And you can stamp your feet on the way out. And you can take the garbage out. But it's as if not only you didn't take it out, but it's as if you ripped it open and made an entire mess on the floor, streaking all the way out. If you're going to do something, do it with a smile. Make her happy. Show positiveness. Make a arena, a warm home around you instead of dragging it down. You can do the same two things, but why not do it with a sense of love? You're doing it anyway. Even if you don't do it now, you're going to make her upset, then you're going to do it later. What are you going to gain from it? Nothing. As it says in Proverbs 23:26, give my son your heart to me. Likewise, when it comes to mitzvahs between man and his fellow man, the main thing is the heart. You want to do something for your friend? Show him how much you care about him. Show him how much you enjoy making him happy. Show him how much when you do something, it's going to show your heart for him. The little act of caring and kindness with a smile goes such a long way. And they're going to appreciate it so much more when you do it that way. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said to his students, go out and discern a good way for a man to cleave to. Rav Eliezer says, a good eye, baby. Rabbi Shua says, a good friend. Rabbi Yossi says, a good neighbor. Rabbi Shimon says, one who considers the outcome of a deed before he does it. And lastly, Rav Eliezer ben Arach said, a good heart. Rabbi Yochanan said to them, out of all your words, out of all your phrases, I prefer the words of Rav Eliezer ben Arach to yours. The good heart. Because your words are all included within his statement. That good heart can hold everything that you all said before. Rashi explains, because everything depends on the heart. Ethics of Our Fathers, 2:9. Everything we do, every act, every davening, every comment, to our wife, to our kids, do it in a way that uplifts them. Do it in a way that shows your love. Do it in a way that makes them happy. Because they're giving that energy out, that's what they're going to all absorb. And that's what's going to boomerang right back to you. You want to have a good day? Make them have a great day. Send them with a kind word. Give them a compliment. What does it take from you? A few words and a smile? That can make somebody's day. You never know what kind of impact you're going to have, even on a stranger that you cross in the street. You can light up their life. And with that, have an awesome, audaciously amazing rest of your day.